you recently did a fruit fast, which we both kind of have a mentor, this guy named Elliot Bisnow. He's a vegan and he's recommends these fruit fasts. Every time I ask him about it, he will not tell me anything about it. Like, you've done it. What is a fruit fast? What does that look like? What are the benefits? Because I know fruit has like a ton of sugar in it, and I'm a huge fruit fan, but I just don't understand eating it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. So I've been, just to give you a little background, food, nutrition, fitness has been a huge part of my life because I've had this like sort of fat kid syndrome. Like I always view myself as a fat kid.
Yeah.
When I was 12 years old, I lost 20, I think it was like 28 pounds doing my Fitness Pal. I hopped on my Fitness Pal. I tracked my calories for months. 12 years old. It's ever since then, it's been a thing. So it's always been in my life, and it's always been I've been so conscious of it. I'm so in my head about it. So like I'm always trying different things. And before I met Elliot, my diet was like, I'm tracking like 150 grams of protein each day. I'm like doing what the fitness world is telling you to do. If you want to build muscle and lose belly fat, whatever. And all of a sudden I go from literally eating 150 grams of protein every day, like chowing down all the chickens, all the protein shakes as much as I can, feeling bloated all the time, but I didn't even know I was feeling bloated. All of a sudden I go from that to just strictly fruit. Like just one day, just like said, screw it, I'm gonna do it.
Were you still that age when you tried it?
No, this was like 6 months ago.
Okay.
Or like 4 months ago. I was eating this major protein heavy diet, and then somebody just told me about this fruit diet, and I'm just kind of spontaneous. I was like, let's just go.
At your body goals, or where?
No.
But you weren't fat.
No, like I still view myself as fat. Like I still like.
You think right now you're fat?
Like I'm getting over that right now.
Oh, you got a body
dysmorphia. Yeah, it's fucking wild. It's definitely wild. And so like this fruit thing like totally helped me out with it, with that specifically. But what it did, I'll give the results first. Is like the major result was like I started actually like being able to feel how everything affected me in my life. Like not only food, not like every time I put any sort of food in my body, I can instantly tell, like, is this serving me or is this draining me? Is this filling me or is this draining me? And then now it's like I can even feel when I'm eating the right way. I can even feel certain humans if they're draining me or filling me. I can like feel it in my body. It's nuts what that did spiritually for me. The fruit fast.
Okay, wait, I gotta jump in because this is interesting. So you were saying that
I kind of skipped
the fruit fast made it so that you can feel what food gives you energy, what food takes away, and that even as far as people. Okay, that's interesting that you say that, because that is something that I've taken on this year, where I'm extremely conscious of what food gives me energy and takes away, and extremely conscious of what people give me energy and what takes away. But the kicker for me was I got an autoimmune disease. So I have a problem. And before, I was so like David Goggins, worked so hard that I ate well, but I never thought about it. I just would eat, and I would eat whatever I wanted, and I was always skinny, and I never had a struggle with weight. And I didn't really feel like food affected my mood, and I didn't really feel like certain people affected my mood, although they probably did, and I was just unaware.
Yeah.
And then when I got sick, the primary issue with my autoimmune disease is it makes you feel weak and lethargic. And so I'm just my baseline weakness is just way more dominant than it used to be. And now being so weak this year, I've considered it a blessing in disguise, because it's made me extremely susceptible to what food gives me energy and what food takes away. And in the past, I could eat ice cream. I wouldn't think about it. Now, if I eat ice cream, I feel horrible later. And the same thing with people. I could hang out with anyone. Obviously, I had preferences, but now if I hang out with someone who drains my energy, I'm super aware of it. And so it's funny that that has come from two like very different stimulations.
What works for you on your diet then? Like what? Because that's the one thing I want to say. Like this fruit thing worked really well for me, and like I know somebody who eats carnivore diet, and whenever he eats a veggie, whenever he eats a vegetable, he feels like shit. He feels inflamed. So it's like it's very personalized.
I think that is a thing too, is that every 10 years or so in the food industry, they'll say a new thing's bad and a new thing's good.
Yeah.
And we have all reason to believe that the current information is the best information because we have the best technology, but there's nothing to say that the trend's not going to keep going where we're going to keep switching what's good and what's bad.
I have something really like on this that Elliot helped me, our mentor, like helped me sit through. He basically, when I first met him, this is hilarious. When I first met him, I show up to his house in Miami. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I met him previously before, barely knew him. Like, I go to help him move out in his place in Miami, and I show up, and for literally 4 hours, all we're doing is we're driving around the streets of Miami, picking fruits off trees and eating fruits. And I was like, what the hell is, like, what are we doing? Like, this is what he does. Like, but it was like such a wild thing. And then I realized, he doesn't wear, any of the whoops or the Oura rings or anything.
Yeah.
And what he maybe said, or somebody heard this from him, where the best tracker is like, we're always trying to track through MyFitnessPal and through like the whoops and and like the numbers.
Yeah.
But like the best tracker is how you feel.
Yeah.
And like nobody slows down to figure out how this is making you feel.
Yeah.
And like that was what this fruit thing unlocked, where I was like, holy, like this is game changing. All I have to do is like, whenever I try anything, trying to change any habit, I just have to slow down and see how it makes me feel, because that's the best tracker, not the new research article that came out telling me that I need to eat this food. It's all about how does this make my body feel, me personally, because everybody's so personalized.
That's interesting. I'm super big on mindfulness, which is, to give the audience a definition of mindfulness, it's like thinking about what you're thinking about, or being aware of your emotions, not just experiencing them. Like asking yourself, why do I feel the way I do? I think it's interesting on that food example, because I could even talk about sleep. Like, what's the sleep thing in the self-help world? Like, wake up at 5 a.m., grind. And now there's a new wave that says, wait, no, that's actually bad. You want to get 9 hours every night. And it's funny because I used to feel guilty about staying up late and not being one of those morning people. And so I was like, all right, like I'm Mr. Discipline. And now I changed my sleep schedule, go to bed at 9 p.m., wake up at 6 a.m. And I was doing it. And it was fine, but I found myself much less productive than when I was a nighttime person. And I listened to this sleep doctor. He's the #1 sleep doctor in the world, Matthew Walker. He said, in our genetics, we have a gene about which one you prefer. Because if you think about hunters and gatherers, someone had to do the night shift, someone had to do the day shift. If you come from a family of night shifters, you're going to operate better working in the night.
Wow.
And that's interesting too. But I think the most important point of that is that for food and for anything related to the body, there generally isn't a one formula fits all.
No.
Because even if you just think food logically about like your nation's background, if your whole lineage ate one way and you eat a different way, you probably adapted to eat a certain way. And now you're going against it. And that is why my belief, if I had to give someone a one source fits all, I would say, this is the way I explain it, is in the word source. So a one source would be anything that directly comes from God, I guess you could say. That would be like sunlight, plants, animals. And then like a two source would be like, all right, say you have grapes. That's like a one source. A two source would be like, you turn that into jelly. And then a three source would be like, now that becomes an Uncrustable.
Yeah.
And so my belief is that it's not so much the food, and it's much more the processing and the changing of it from its natural state. Because if you think about it, for almost all of history, people just ate what came from the earth. And now, when we're getting diabetes and everyone's overweight, it's because we've taken the food from the earth and we've made it our own. We've thought like, oh, we're better than the earth at making food, and we've processed it and used fertilizer. And so it is my belief that the best, if you want a formula for fitting, that you should avoid processing as much, avoid human involvement as much. That's my beliefs.
Yeah. If God made it, eat it. Like if God didn't make it, don't eat it. And that's what the fruit fast is all about. It's not like the fruit fast completely cleansed out everything in my body. All the toxins that I had gathered up from all the BS that I put in my body, like completely cleansed, like full on cleansed through. And then the idea of it is like after I was done with 20 days of eating only fruit, no caffeine, no oil, no salt, no nothing, just fruit and water. At the end of that, I was like, I don't want to go back to how this shit made me feel. So I started like just doing like more like raw foods, like we call them like foods that are alive. So like any foods, anytime you cook a food, it actually is killing a lot of the nutrients. So it's like raw foods is kind of like the diet that for me like makes me feel so damn good. It elevates my consciousness to the next level. I still feel wild saying this, but like me and my buddy joke about it when we're on like this fruit diet and this raw vegan diet. We literally feel like Jesus Christ. Like I'm not like that. like
Oh God,
yeah. It's a joke, but it's like that's literally we feel so much higher consciously than ever before.
Now I have a question though, specifically about the fruit fast. Did you feel during the fast? Did you feel a lot better, or was it after that you noticed the results?
Like during the fast, there was like day 3 through like 7. There was like a lot of energy shifts.
Yeah.
Like there's like points in the day where I'm like pretty low on energy.
Yeah.
But then like all this but still during that I was still like really vibing with it. I was still really liking how it made me feel. And one like for me like I think a big thing is I just love food so much. Like I want to intake food a lot of the time. Like I just want to, and I shame myself when I do. But like with the fruit diet, I was like that you can eat as much fruit as you want, like nonstop. And I was like, this is fucking cool. Like I just get to indulge in fruit and so like it removed the shaming side of any like shame that I gave myself when I was eating food.
And so what were the weight results?
I lost 18 pounds in 20 days. I wasn't trying to lose weight.
You were pretty much eating unlimited fruit?
Yeah.
Because that's interesting that you say that, because I know a lot of people, doctors, they destroy juice because they say fruit has so much sugar that if you're drinking fruit juice, you're just basically drinking sugar.
Yeah.
And so I know it's been much different because you're getting a lot of fiber, but I was curious about the weight loss.
Fiber is the most underrated nutrient, like for sure. There's a book called Fiber Fueled. It talks all about it, and nobody talks about how damn good fiber is for you, and so that's kind of like another piece of it. Where the fiber, like the gut microbiome is such a big thing now.
Yeah.
And like fiber is the ingredient, the thing that clears that shit out. And like it does the best work on your gut.
Wow.
Which your gut impacts your mental health and impacts the way you think and the way you feel and how sick you get or how sick you don't.
Yeah, the gut's big.
Yeah.
Wait, so now I have another question. Are you vegan then, or are you like, do you avoid eating meat?
No. I just got back from like a 2-month trip around Europe, Israel, just like I was indulging in all the foods, like, and I enjoyed it. I would say like goal is like 80% raw vegan if I can. Like if I can eat only raw foods, so like eat nuts, raw vegetables, raw fruits, like 80%. If I can do that, I feel so damn good. And then like I can indulge in other things. I'll eat anything. I'll eat anything.
Dude, that's interesting because I know protein's very hyped up.
Yeah.
I think it's hyped up because it's like the muscle builder. And carnivore diet's hyped up right now too. It's so funny. There's so many things that are hyped up. Like carnivore diet's like so popular right now, and so is the vegan diet. And they're literally just complete opposites.
I think the whole like lesson behind this whole thing, it's not even like regarding like nutrients or fitness. It's like it's literally all about like regardless of what you're trying to shift or change or make impact in your life, it's all so personalized. It's all about you and like what's in like how you react to it and how like, and so all the answers are within. And you just like, I think the biggest thing that I've realized recently, like being in the personal development, like so indulging on all the information in this world, like constantly, and it was good information. Like I'm constantly like taking in all the best like positive content for 4 years after I went through this shift in college. 4 years of just nonstop listening. And then I realized, like, let's slow down a little bit. Like, everybody in this world is listening to the news, listening to social media, listening to all this, all that. We're never listening to ourselves. Like, never. Nobody listens to themselves. Like, nobody spends the time to listen to themselves. So I started doing that.